My parents stole $6,000 from my savings account to give to my brother, so I moved the rest of the money and made them think they'd been hacked. I'm 17, and I've been working since I was 14, babysitting at first, and then a real job at Dairy Queen. Every paycheck, I put at least half into savings for college because my parents made it very clear they weren't paying for it. They insisted on being on the account because I was a minor, and what if there's an emergency? I checked my balance one day, and it was $800 lower than I expected. I asked my mom, and she didn't even look guilty. She said, "We had to help your brother with his car payment. We'll pay it back." My brother Fielding is 24 and lives on his own, technically, but he has a hard time keeping jobs because every boss he's ever had is apparently an idiot who doesn't appreciate his genius. I told my mom that was my college money, and she said, "Family helps family. He's your brother." 2 months later, another $500 was gone for my brother's phone bill and groceries. I confronted my parents at dinner, and my dad said, "You live under our roof rent-free. Consider it your contribution to the household." I said I was a minor and I was supposed to live rent-free. My mom said, "Your brother is going through a difficult time and you have no expenses. You'll make it back." Meanwhile, my brother drove a nicer car than anyone in our family, always had brand new shoes, and had never once said thank you to me for anything in his entire life. When he came over for dinner, he'd complain about how long it was taking, and then complain about the food. Over 6 months, they took almost $2,000 from my account for things like concert tickets, a new PlayStation, and my brother's business idea that never turned into anything. I kept working, kept saving, kept my mouth shut, and kept every receipt. When my balance hit $6,400, I was ready. I opened a new account at a different bank across town, one my parents had never used. I was 17, so I needed an adult, and my aunt agreed to co-sign because she'd always seen how my parents treated me compared to my brother. I transferred everything out and left exactly $1 so the account stayed open and they wouldn't get any notifications. Then I waited. Saturday morning, I was in my room studying when I heard my mom screaming downstairs. She yelled, "What do you mean insufficient funds? There should be over $6,000 in that account." My dad was already calling the bank, demanding to speak to a manager, saying someone had hacked into his daughter's account and stolen everything. My brother showed up 20 minutes later because he was supposed to get rent money that day. My mom was crying and saying someone stole everything, and what if they got into our other accounts too? My dad was on the phone with the police non-emergency line trying to report fraud while my brother paced around the kitchen, asking what he was supposed to do about rent because he needed that money today. My mom kept telling him not to worry, they'd figure something out. Then my dad started yelling because the bank told him there was no fraud, that the account holder had made a legitimate transfer to another institution. He was screaming that was impossible because she was only 17. My mom shouted up the stairs for me to get down there right now. I walked downstairs with my face completely calm. My dad said, "Did you move the money? Where is it?" I said, "In my new account, at a different bank. One you're not on." Dead silence. My mom's face twisted and she said, "You had us thinking we were robbed. I almost had a heart attack. I was about to call the police." I said, "And I almost lost my college fund. $6,000 I worked for since I was 14. My dad said, "That money is for family emergencies." I said, "No, that money is for my education. You took $2,000 to pay for your adult son's car and phone and rent and PlayStation because he can't keep a job for more than 3 months." My brother said, "I'm going through a hard time and you're being incredibly selfish right now." I said, "You're going through my savings account is what you're going through." My mom said, "You give us access to that account right now, young lady." I said, "No." My dad stepped toward me and said, "You live in this house and you follow our rules." I said, "I'm 17. I'm legally required to live here, and you're legally required to house me. My money is mine." My mom started crying and said, "How could you do this to your family? After everything we've done for you?" I said, "How could you steal from your daughter to fund your adult son who has never worked for anything in his life?" My brother called me a selfish bitch and stormed out, slamming the door so hard a picture fell off the wall. My parents just stood there staring at me like they didn't recognize me. I went back upstairs and closed my door. My parents didn't speak to me for 2 weeks. My aunt says I can move in with her when I turn 18, and my college fund is at $7,200 now. Nobody can touch it but me.